Hello. Oh, good. This works. So you'll forgive me. I'm going to jump right in here. We are so grateful that the governor eked out some time in his very busy schedule to be with us. I think if this pandemic didn't teach us anything, it taught us to be flexible and pivot when we need to. So welcome to the City of Torrington. For any of you that don't know me, I am Eleanor Carbone, Mayor of the City of Torrington. Woo-hoo. I'm going to hold off my acknowledgement of all of the dignitaries. Many of you are speaking here, but did want to acknowledge the governor, our state representatives, representation from DECD, DOH, our city council members, Board of Finance members, Board of Safety and Board of Education, police and fire. I think I see our fire chief back there. So just jumping in, I want to give you a little bit of history. You've all been invited here today to help us celebrate the groundbreaking of our Riverfront Torrington housing development. However, I would be remiss if I didn't include the celebration of a number of successes that bring us to this point in time. Our first success, we've cleaned up a contaminated piece of property, 100 Franklin Street. So quick history on this. In 2013, within days of taking office after being elected mayor, I received a letter from EPA stating that the city could not possibly meet the deadline for the use of the grant funds that had been awarded to us, and that they wanted us to return those funds to them. The fund had been difficult to get property owners to utilize because there really was very little experience with brownfield remediation in the city of Torrington. At the same time, the owner of this 2-acre parcel at 100 Franklin Street, which was the former Torrington Manufacturing Company site, was interested in turning the property over to the city. The building had been demolished. However, it was a well-known fact that the industrial legacy of the site resulted in a contaminated condition. My immediate response to EPA was to convince them that we could make use of those funds, that this site could be our maiden voyage into brownfield remediation, and that we had the capacity and the courage to make that happen. By the way, the timeline to make that happen was 9 months. In 2014, we accomplished roughly a third of the cleanup that needed to happen, and we capped what we could and left the rest of the site recognizing it needed to be, the continuation needed to, contaminating needed to be continued. We reached out to the state of Connecticut. The state of Connecticut recognized the work that had been accomplished by the city in rescuing the EPA revolving loan funds, remediating the property, and allowing for redevelopment of the site. Working together, we developed a strategy for the redevelopment, and the state granted us another $1 million to keep that progress going. This assisted with the cleanup of the site, setting the stage for development of affordable housing and trail work. The second success, during the same period of time, we learned that investing in ourselves will attract outside investment. In 2016, the city received additional funds from the state of Connecticut. Through DECD, it was called the Brownfield Area-Wide Redevelopment Plan, or a BAR grant. Those funds helped guide us on what type of improvements and incentives the city should be looking at to attract a high-caliber developer. This plaza that we're all sitting in today is one of the successes of that grant. I quickly learned that if we are not investing in ourselves, then how can we expect anyone else to invest in us? The decision to move forward with the improvements to Franklin Plaza and Patterson Park set the stage for our request for a developer for 100 Franklin Street. Third success. Partnerships are key to redevelopment, and having a developer at the table will positively impact the cost of remediation. In spring of 2019, I sent out an RFQ for developers. Never done that before. It was a leap of faith and a lot of prayers. Pennrose and the cloud companies responded to our request, and through the wisdom of our city council members, many of whom are here today, our partnership was cemented. To say that it is remarkable that Pennrose, the cloud company, our city departments, particularly Rista Malanga, who's standing back there, Marty Connor, our city planner, back there, our partners at GZA, Red Technologies, Department of Housing, DECD, DEEP, EPA, our Torrington Development Corporation, all helped make this happen. To say that it is remarkable is an understatement. For its size, the remediation of this property was a nightmare. Every week, and at times 2 or 3 times a week, during a pandemic, all of our partners were assembled, checking in, adjusting, reevaluating, and guiding us to the end result. I'm looking at Carmen, who's here with us. Carmen is, if you're ever looking for a team leader, it's Carmen. I know, sorry, just, strategy and keeping us on timelines. So the end result, a clean, developable property that will now provide healthy housing and a trail amenity for the residents of the city of Torrington. I will tell you that I often refer to the studies that have been undertaken over these last several years. You heard me mention the BAR grant. We also worked during this time on the Working Cities Challenge. Both of those plans identified the importance of providing new residential multifamily development in the city of Torrington. I pull those plans out on a regular basis. I don't know about anybody else, but I'd love to know what people were saying 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and 8 years ago. I found it most interesting that in 2017, we had conducted a survey with our high school students, directly asking them, what should we do to make it easier or more likely for them to stay or return to Torrington? 33% of the responses, and there were over 700 responses, cited the ability to live in town centers or downtowns where they could walk to shops, restaurants, libraries, and cafes. Out of the mouths of babes, Riverfront Torrington is the perfect project for the immediate and future needs of the city of Torrington. I am grateful to all of our partners. We're confident this development will be the catalyst for a vibrant downtown and hope that it makes all of you as proud of our accomplishment as it does me. So at this time, I want to turn this over, because I know the governor is on a very tight timeline, to Sandy Cloud from the Cloud Companies.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am very proud on behalf of the Cloud Company to be a co-developer along with our longtime partner Pennrose Properties and the City of Torrington. Mayor Carbone, we are so delighted to be able to work with you and your senior team and staff, Vista and Marty and council members in developing this transformational development project known now as Riverfront Torrington. Our focus at the Cloud Company is to be a part of transforming neighborhoods and downtown locations into vibrant communities, as we did in New Britain, Meriden, Hartford, and now this new downtown Torrington. Site is just wonderful with 60 mixed income, affordable housing units and retail and commercial space. With me today are my colleagues from the Cloud Company, Chris Cloud and Anthony Gillis. You know, it takes a lot of diverse resources to develop transformational projects. It also takes great leadership. And it is now my pleasure and honor to introduce the 89th governor of the state of Connecticut, Ned Lamont, who was elected in 2019. He has taken on major leadership issues facing the people of the state of Connecticut, including the pandemic. And one of the things that Governor Lamont's leadership showed and contributed in making sure that the construction industry was to keep open during this pandemic to help the Connecticut economy continue going strong, and that the housing industry developing particularly affordable housing which enables us to be here today. He has a deep commitment to affordable housing, and we thank you, Governor, for your outstanding leadership and welcome you to this great groundbreaking event, knowing what your schedule is. Governor, Ned Lamont.
How we doing? We dry here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you that Sandy and Charlie from Pennrose, Selah, Nandini, and we've been going around the state a little bit. Alexandra. We're just at the park at Riverfront in Hartford. I just came up from Canton, Eleanor, where the old Canton Axe factory, which I think has been pretty underutilized since the factory moved down to Central America in the mid-'60s, and that's being redeveloped. And what I love about being here with you all today is this is an example of people rediscovering what makes Connecticut such an amazing place. And for the first time in decades, we have tens of thousands of families moving back to Connecticut. And they can't move back to Connecticut unless we have quality, affordable housing where everybody can be. And right here in Torrington, Eleanor, what you said, I remember we were here 3 years ago. I remember looking at that brownfield. That's part of our legacy. Sorry, guys, we had a great factory business years and years ago, and they left us some work we had to take care of. And we've taken care of that. And as as you heard, what I hear from everybody is I want a town where my kids can afford to live. The folks who work in my town or city can afford to be here. And I'm really proud that I think Connecticut is doing it right. We're doing it smart. We're doing it smart in the sense that we're helping to redevelop our downtowns in a way that we bring them back to life. We're redeveloping our downtowns in a way that the widest diversity of people can afford to stay in their town and live in their town and be here in Connecticut. We're doing this in a way that preserves our open space and transit-oriented development. So I think we have a good idea of what this amazing state's going to look like 10, 20, 30 years ago, and we're making a really important down payment on what that is. And this is a testament to a state that's getting its feedback. And I apologize, I do have to go. We've Rhea and Michelle are showing up next week. They got a big vote we got to make. It's one reason we're able to get our state back is because we're safe. We've had the highest vaccination rate in the country. And thanks to all of you. Really, thanks to you. And that means not only, Sandy, that we can keep construction open, that our businesses are open, our schools are open safely, lowest infection rate in the country, and I got to keep going a little bit longer to keep us safe, and that's what we're going to be talking about this afternoon and with the votes early next week. But I just want to say to each and every one of you here, I think, in this case, build it and they will come, Eleanor. I think you're going to see really transform downtown Torrington. I think you can see a transformed state. These are the type of investments that make a difference, and I'm doing with a team that I really believe in. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Governor. Can people hear me without this? Need it? I need it. Okay. Gotta use it. I'm not that loud, I guess. I guess that's a good thing, right? So my name is Charlie Adams. I'm from Pennrose, and on behalf of the Cloud Company and Pennrose and the City of Torrington, I wanted to welcome you here as well to the groundbreaking for the Riverfront, a 60-unit, mixed-income, mixed-use community that will really benefit and help to continue the hard work that the City of Torrington has done. As you can tell, and you've heard, we do a lot of work with cities and towns. And Tim Henkel, one of our owners, often says about that process is that you choose us, but we choose you in terms of that. And we were first introduced to this particular site and this particular community by Val Farrow and Jeff Fitzgerald at Bullard Engineering. and they had done a lot of consulting work with the city, and it brought us down and said, hey, why don't you take a look at this? And when we came and looked at it, we said, that's something we really want to be a part of. We were really excited about what the city was doing. We were instantly impressed, and got a chance to work with the mayor and her team, who was Erin at the time, and now Rista as well, and it's been great. They are really committed to investing in their community. There is no greater example of that than where we are right now. This beautiful plaza is just remarkable, and this was in the works when we started our conversations, and it's great to see it actually come to reality. And really, it's a beautiful place for people to gather. And so this was really an inspiration for us as we thought about what we wanted to do down there, and really to continue this area, to extend Franklin Street down and around the corner. And when complete, the Riverfront will house 60 individuals and families and create really meaningful retail and community space. There'll be a rooftop deck, ground floor retail right on the edge, and a continuation of the Naugatuck River Greenway Trail around the back of the building. So the idea is really to continue the work that the city has already done and bring it around and down. And then the work's not done. There are future plans that the city would love to see as the work continues around the bend and further down Franklin Street. And so we really appreciate being a part of your community. I want to say a thank you to the governor. Even though he's gone, I'll still say a thank you to the governor for his exceptional selection of the DOH Commissioner, Mascara Bruno. She is a tireless advocate for low-income families and affordable housing. Under her watch, much and critically important mixed-income housing has been developed. She sets the tone for her staff to move projects along. We are very appreciative of the hard work of all of our staff, and in particular, Nathan Carnes, who's here with us today, is the project manager for this. We really appreciate the hard work that you put in to help us get to the finish line. So thank you, Nathan. The commissioner doesn't know this, but she and I have something in common. Our three favorite letters in the alphabet are A, B, C. Always be closing. As a developer first and a commissioner second, she really understands the value of moving projects along, and she's really committed. The housing's not going to build itself, is it? And so she provides the gateway to helping us get to that result and to that end, and we're really appreciative and thankful for that. And so I'd like to invite Commissioner to come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me. Good afternoon, Mayor. And Charlie, is this like a week thing that we're going to have? Like, we went in hard for it a week ago, and we're here. It's not that we're giving all the money to them. But it is to diversify your portfolio, right? So we're in the big cities, we're in the small towns. And this project is just an amazing project. I'm going to thank you and everybody who contributed to this. Having a waterfront, river waterfront development, affordable housing is just amazing. And having, in addition to that, the restaurants or cafe, whatever you're gonna build is awesome. Just walking, being able to walk, being able to be with your family around this plaza, I think that the residents are gonna have a great time. So my Department of Housing, my staff, Nathan is here. We have done a lot of changes in the structure, and the governor set the tone. We need to get things done, and we can't wait to the following year. So this project came in 2019 for tax credits. We funded, we gave the bonds, and the governor and the legislature, of course, because if you keep bringing more money for the Department of Housing to do more development, we can do this. So I'm grateful to the governor, I'm grateful to our legislators that allow us to do this type of work, and to our partners. Our staff, CHFA, working in collaboration, and we're going to be doing a lot more. We are looking at more efficiencies, trying to be more effective, and trying to also provide more technical assistance to our towns and cities, because affordable housing is not only for the big cities, but it's also for our towns, and people need to have choices. And that's why I believe, and that's what the governor believes. So thank you very much for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Nandini Natarajan, the Executive Director of CHAFA. And when she took the job, someone forgot to tell her that there would be a worldwide pandemic that would turn her entire department and career upside down. But that didn't faze her at all. She and her team have not missed a beat. And we are extremely grateful to their hard work particularly Colette Slover, who's here with us. There's Colette, tireless advocate on the Chapa side as a project manager to help us get through the deal, so we really appreciate that. And she was supported by Joe and Leslie and the entire tech team, so we really appreciate that. One of the things that's really impressed me with Chapa under Anthony's leadership is that they really have leaned into COVID as a whole. They recognize that the need for affordable housing is growing, not shrinking, during the pandemic. And this past year, they actually funded more deals than they have in the 5 years that we've been working here at Pennrose. And that's really a testament to you and your team and to staying things on schedule when you could have packed it in because of everything. And we really appreciate that. We're really grateful. We're extremely grateful to you, to Masuda, Colette, Joe, Leslie, for your hard work and dedication to this project and affordable housing overall. And we're very honored that you have put your trust in us to be able to deliver this critically needed housing for this community. So I'd like to invite you up to say a few words.
Thank you, Charlie. Very kind words. So it's my first time being in Torrington, actually. I've been at CHFA for, can you see me? I'm kind of short. Should I stand on this? It's my first time in Torrington. I actually was in Litchfield County last weekend, and it's a beautiful part of the state. I'm really happy that we're building affordable housing in different parts of Connecticut that need it. A big thank you to all the partners, the mayor, the state legislators, the commissioner, all the folks at CHFA. It really does take a village. I was reading somewhere that over 50% of the affordable housing stock here predates 1970. So to have new building that's riverfront is just beyond compare. So I really, really commend you for that. And to Pennrose and the Cloud Company for your vision. I was going to say a few more thank yous before I stop. Developments like this have been compared to lasagna financing. And so, with that in mind, I want to thank the permanent lender, Torrington Savings Bank, for their role. Citibank, the construction lender, Eversource, who provided energy rebates, the Federal Home Loan Bank of New York and Boston, who provided a GP loan. We provide the low-income housing tax credit, which is a federal resource that is, talked about but not often understood. It actually is the most important tool, or one of the most important tools today, that helps build affordable housing nationwide. The equity that we allocated, was about $12 million. So you need an investor for that. So Redstone Equity, thank you, big thank you to you, and the federal delegation of Connecticut that supports this program and actually provided an increase to the allocation of the federal low-income housing tax credit in 2021. I read somewhere that Charlie Adams said that this will be done in June of 2022. I look forward to coming back. And as I was walking here, a man said to me, "Are you going over there?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Tell them to fix the factory building too while they're at it." And I said, "Here's to more affordable housing in Torrington." Thank you. I'm so glad to know that you checked those statistics. Yes, when you have more than 65% of your housing predating the 70s, the magic date there is that's when lead paint abatement became a law. So healthy housing has been a priority of mine. At this point, I just want to turn this over and talk a little bit about DECD and what a great partner they were. Sorry, everybody was standing in the rain. Alexandra Dom is here. I'm sorry. Oh, there you are. Thank you. Alexandra actually came out to see us about a year ago, this month. And we stood here in the plaza and we talked about what we were going to do over here. We're so grateful that DECD has shown so much love to the city of Torrington. We are incredibly grateful for all of the investments. And I said it a year ago and I'll say it again. If you give me $1 million, I'm going to return to you $20 million. So with that said, I do want to turn this over to Deputy Commissioner Dunn.
rain, and I think it might be my fault because the last time I was here, the skies opened when we were standing on the exact spot. So that's two is a pattern, right? Anyway, I'll be brief, but I'm thrilled to be here today to celebrate this milestone for the Riverfront. You have made a lot of progress since we were here a year ago, and I'm proud that Brownfield's funding, as you mentioned in your intro, was a big part of the funding of this project and got the project over the line. So I want to talk about a couple things that made the project competitive because it's a really competitive funding program. And so what brought this project to the top of the pile? So the first thing is, in addition to being in such a beautiful spot, as so many people have mentioned, we are also actually in an opportunity zone, or the project will be in an opportunity zone, which is a top priority for DECD and for the Lamont administration. We're constantly trying to attract opportunity zone investments to Connecticut's 72 opportunity zones, not just for those investments themselves, but because we really feel that each investment begets additional investments. And I hope that we see that here. I hope that there'll be folks that see the development that's going on and bring in more opportunity zone capital into this priority census tract. Another important attribute is, as many people mentioned, the urban vibrancy that this project is going to contribute to. And while we know that Connecticut suburbs have really seen a boost from the pandemic, DECD believes in Connecticut cities more than ever. And I loved your survey statistics because it makes me think that DECD is on the same vibe as a bunch of recent high school grads. So feeling very hip and feeling like I'm getting the right vibe. So we are definitely investing in our cities, very much so. You'll see in almost all of our funding applications that we're really prioritizing densification and urban vibrancy, walkability, and this project checks so many of those boxes with the public access, with the pedestrian connections, and with just the fact that it's an urban infill site that's going to create a lot of activity and pedestrian activity for downtown Torrington. So we're thrilled from all those points of view. It's a box checker. So I mentioned that it's our Brownfields program, and I just want to talk a little bit more about the program itself because we've been very busy lately. And Governor Lamont announced $19 million of Brownfields funds over in June. And so we've spent the summer celebrating all of those awards, and then didn't waste any time announcing the availability of another $17 million of Brownfields funding with applications in October. So we're really keeping the pipeline full of Brownfields remediation projects because they, where we can help take our legacy that the governor mentioned of contaminated sites and turn that into places where people can live and work and all that good stuff. That's what this administration is seriously prioritizing. So we will keep that pipeline full. So I just want to close with some thank yous. Many of them said, but first to the Brownfield staff, which evaluates all these applications, and they're extremely technical. Sorry about my crazy hair. Thank you to the Brownfield staff. Thank you so much to the developers. That's all the vision and execution is 99%. Of course, you need all the partners, but if you don't have a developer, there's no point. Thank you to the mayor and to the city for being very good partners to the state and very easy to work with and very on top of things. And you can tell from all the remarks that have been made today that this is a great municipality to work with. And then lastly, to the governor and to the General Assembly for continuing to fund and prioritize the Brownfield program because it really is doing so much good work all across the state, including what we're looking at here today. So thank you. I'm not sure who's next, but I'll give it back to you.
So I think I have like 3 other projects that were in the pipeline for us. So at this point, I just wanted to invite our. You heard some acknowledgments to our state legislators. They are critically key in our pursuit of these brownfield applications. When I'm thinking I need to submit one and we've got a property we want to focus on, I'm immediately reaching out to Michelle Cook, Representative Horn, Jay Case. I'm not sure, I haven't seen him here yet. But they are extremely responsive. They recognize that as an urban center in the northwest corner with these legacy sites, that it does take all of us rowing in the same direction to make this happen. So I just wanted to invite the representatives that are here. I did hear from Kevin Whitcoes, unfortunately. He had an appointment at the last minute that he had to attend, as did Senator Minor. But Representative Cook and Horn are here, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mayor.
I too remember some of these presentations from some years ago when this was just one of these foam boards. So it's nice to see actual boards going up there. And I guess not to extend this too much, what I would just emphasize is, there's a long list of people on here, and that's because of the so many people and interests it takes to bring this together. And in particular, what's satisfying for me is to see the overlapping interest between all the work that Commissioner Pennrose is doing on affordable housing, as well as environmental interests. And to have that overlap is critically important because affordable housing is a critical need throughout the northwest corner. As we are starting to draw more families here, we need to be able to provide that housing if we're going to keep them here. And to have it be, the environment is another critical interest for those young families. And so to be able to serve both those interests at the same time is critically, critically important, as is the arts. And I see some representatives of that here. So I'm really happy to see, these interests often get pitted against one another, and it's important to recognize that that doesn't have to be so. If we're willing to work really hard and to listen to one another's, criticisms and suggestions about other ways to do things, that's really important, and you can get things like this done. So thank you.
I was just looking at the sheet to see how many more people were left, because when you're at the bottom of the list, it's very difficult to come up with something new to say. So I just want to thank all of you for being here. Many, many years ago, when I ran for office, it was important for change in our community. And some years ago, I had a conversation with the Cloud family, and we had just different conversations of their envisions of what really could happen. And you look around, and we know that as I have 4 children that have graduated from the high school here, none of them are actually here right now. That doesn't mean that they might not return, but I know that they're not here. And so finding reasons for them to come back and have things that they can walk around to is vitally important. But I think what's more important is remediation for our brownfields and ensuring that these properties that have been empty for so long are actually remediated and taken care of. It is mostly important for those businesses that are here. I look at one business that's right across the street, and Sawyer's has done an insurmountable work on making sure that the corner down here has changed. That is important, and so different programs and projects are vitally important to ensure that our businesses also thrive in this environment. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you.
Thank you very much, and let me just echo how critically important the state resources are to the programs that we do here, and we wouldn't be able to do it without it, so thank you for your leadership. At Pennrose, our tagline is bricks and mortar, heart and soul, and our ownership group inspires us to live that mission every day. Today we're celebrating the bricks and mortar, and in 12 months from now we'll be celebrating the heart and soul, because that's when the residents will move in. And that's the really exciting part, and at the end of the day, that's what really this is all about. But today we are going to talk a little bit about the bricks and mortar team that put this together, and you've already heard her name before, but I do want to recognize Carmen Chung again for her incredible hard work and dedication on this project. In the world of real estate, this project happened very quickly, and it only was hung up by the 17-foot hole that had to be dug on the site. We thought that never was going to end, didn't we? But great job of keeping that together. But what Carmen was able to do, when investors hear environmental concerns, they kind of run the other way, shockingly, right? So what Carmen was able to do is to keep everybody together, keep them marching on, and as soon as we got that all clear letter, she was ready to close. So really testament to her hard work on herding all those cats and getting to closing. I also want to recognize Katie Rodan and Lee Reedy, who are out here, who set up this beautiful event for us today, so thank you for that. And I want to recognize our team itself. One of the things I love hearing is the sound of nail guns, which you can hear in the background. That's kind of my favorite thing. And the people responsible for that, you can probably guess, is the guy with the hard hat over there. That's Adam Kinkle and Paul Haynes standing next to him. So I really want to thank you guys for the construction work and all the hard work you're doing. Oh, and there's Walter over there too. So thanks to the Haynes construction. Carmen closed on a Friday and Haynes started on Saturday for the construction, so we can't beat that. The building is absolutely gorgeous. I just love the way it looks, and it's going to come out great. And WRT is responsible for that design. And we've got we're the WRT folks. Joe Healy is here with us, and Keiko from WRT as well. A really gorgeous building. So thank you. they're being assisted on the design by QA&M. I didn't see anyone from QA&M here, but there you go. Great, thanks for coming. So they're helping us on the construction administration, so thank you for that. Innova, our owner's rep, Tom Howes, he's been invaluable in going through the process. And our civil engineer I mentioned earlier is Jeff. Lastly, I just want to mention a couple funders before I bring up Tim to close us out. Redstone Capital, Equity Capital was our equity investor. Citibank was our lender, and we were very excited to work with Torrington Savings Bank, a local bank. This was really a special part of the project that we did here. We don't often have the opportunity to work with local banks, and when there's an opportunity to do it, we did it. And we worked with them on a Federal Home Loan Bank application, which was the first one they had done. So we're really excited to keep something like that local. We're very appreciative of the hard work that you have put in and providing the permanent debt for this project. And then lastly, I think I did see someone from DeMarco Management is here. They're going to actually be managing our project when it's all done, so we appreciate the hard work you put in to make that happen. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Tim Henkel, who's going to close us out here and get us 2 refreshments. Thank you. And hard hats and shovels for the photo opportunity.
You think you've got it bad? Not only is more stuff said, I'm between you and refreshments, and it's still sunny out. So I will be brief and always do my best. But and one thing that I'm thinking of, what I do is I don't come up with a bunch of notes because I end up crossing everything off by the time I get to go. So I just try and bring together some of the themes here. And I was really remembering something I heard from a redevelopment professional I probably most accurately describe as a mentor who. He would say, if you're not building something, executing something, planning something, thinking about something, and dreaming about something all at the same time, you've already lost momentum. And as I sit here listening to the comments today, that momentum is here. And if I'm a constituent of the City of Torrington and I've been wondering one thing, what's my mayor dreaming about right now? I can't wait to see what comes next. And that's a special thing. The thing that wasn't said in that list is, you forget moments of courage, and there were a few of them. A 17-foot hole is deeper than it sounds. That's a couple of basketball hoops almost, right? And then there were some days where like, will we ever stop digging? And a COVID crisis, a pandemic, is another moment of courage. And so I'll thank everyone for their leadership. These projects kept going, largely on behalf of the people that they will soon house. So the sooner we can deliver that housing, the better off everyone is. And in our vernacular, the sooner we finish, the sooner we close the project, the sooner we work on closing the next one. It's just really, our mantra is just to go as fast as we possibly can, obviously as safely as we possibly can. And we can't do that unless there are counterparts, and Charlie said it right. We do often measure the people across the table to decide whether or not this is a place we should invest ourselves, our time, and our investment, and that was not a hard decision here. And so the leadership has really come together in great ways. We hear often, we like to say, housing is health. We know if we provide a great housing opportunity, people will be more healthy. They'll breathe better air, and they'll have a better housing opportunity, more longevity. We think about that in terms of seniors, but there are children who live in really substandard conditions. 1970s housing, as best as it's been maintained, is really not doing the job anymore. That's some old carpet and some of those things. That can be a very moldy situation. So changing that is a big part of our wellness going forward, and that's really important. Housing is security. Housing is stability. If you're going to move around 5 times, your kids are going to go to 5 different schools, and that's not a stable situation. So these are the things that we change conventionally. Here I'm thinking also, back to my mentor, housing is redevelopment. And so for us to be part of the dominoes that fall, we are here because of Sawyer's, right? When we come here and look at Sawyer's on the corner, we go, if they think it's good, we think it's good. And someone will make that same decision because of the building that's going up behind you, and that is really what this is all about. So the redevelopment potential of whatever comes next is something that we will be invested in, we'll be partners in, we'll be here forever. We're your neighbors now, and we're really, really excited about that. We love the context, we love great leadership, and that's why we're here in Torrington. Can't wait to see you all at the grand opening or sometime in between. So, quickly. I'm sure there's some logistics about throwing dirt coming up.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that I just heard healthy housing, as you heard me say earlier, with so much of our housing being predating 1970s, healthy housing is so important to us. Housing stability is so critical to the success of this community. What I also know, you heard me say earlier that I pay very close attention to all of the studies that we've undertaken all these years. One of the other studies we did with Val Farrell from Good Earth Consulting and Sue Olivier, our market analysis, where they identified the need for 200 and some odd additional housing, multifamily housing units that we needed in the community. And while our retail, there wasn't a strong need for it, until you build the housing, which then creates the need for the retail, that's in the other study that I read all the time. So everybody here, you've all played such an important role in helping to get us here. I'm tremendously grateful. Let's go through Drew.